Hey, what's going on, my friend? Alvin here, and in today's video, I'm revealing the truth about what it's like to be a project manager, and I'll also be answering the question, is project management right for you? I want to help you make informed decisions for your next career move, and I want you to have success so that you can finally earn the income that you deserve. If you've never had a job in project management, then I have so many videos that I'll be releasing on my channel this month that will be relevant for you, that will be interesting. So I encourage you to subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so already. With that, let's get started. So my experience starting out as a project manager is just like anyone else. I was extremely excited and I couldn't believe that I made the official switch from a senior engineering role to an engineering project manager role. I was very happy, and I remember just smiling when I finally saw that offer letter and just being so enthusiastic about starting my first day at the new company. I remember watching so many courses on Udemy and videos to learn about project management and how I could be a better leader. Just starting out, I thought that I was going to be assigned a very big project in my first role as a PM. And honestly, truth be told, from my own experience, I was actually not assigned a very big project. It was something that was significantly smaller, where I was involved with taking over a project which was already in progress. It already had its own governance, its own cadence, and its own structure in place. So for me, all I had to do was swoop right in and take over. I'm making it sound a lot easier than it really was, but looking back, that makes perfect sense because I still had to ramp up my learning ability and get used to the organizational structure and the processes. And not to mention, it was my first real title and position as a project manager. So my first lesson to you is, don't expect to be assigned the biggest project that will have the largest impact on your company's goals when you're starting out. That will likely not be the case since you're just starting out in the field and you have so many things to learn. Just like I was, you're probably going to be assigned much smaller projects where you'll either shadow, or maybe you'll work with a more experienced project manager, or you'll work on smaller projects to test out the waters and get a real feel for how your company manages projects and the different processes. The second lesson is that as a project manager, people around you will expect you to know almost everything about the in and outs of your project. And because of it, you'll sometimes feel like you're an imposter who doesn't know everything, and you'll be questioning whether or not you made the right career move. I felt this way myself many times as a PM, and the imposter syndrome will go away gradually, and it's going to take some time. Today, I'm a much different person professionally than I ever was 3 years ago. We all learn from our challenges and we grow in all of our skill sets. Nowadays, I feel so much more confident in my role, and I know how to answer questions if I don't even know the answers. But it takes time to develop that confidence if you're just starting out in your first position as an associate or even entry-level PM. Just remember that you're not going to know every single answer or every little detail about all the tasks on your project. It's nearly impossible for you to know everything at the 100,000 foot level all the way down to the granular ground level. You're the project manager, so rely on your team if there's anything that you don't know and you're not sure about. If someone asks you a question that you don't know, then tell them, I recommend reaching out to this person since she's the subject matter expert. My biggest advice here is, don't feel like you need to know everything. The third lesson is that you will feel completely stressed and overwhelmed by the huge amount of responsibility that comes with being the leader on your projects. It comes with the territory and the job title as a project manager. You're going to feel like one little error or one little mistake that you make could push the schedule back by several months and make your costs go way above budget. And that it could cost the company thousands, if not millions of dollars. And I'm here to tell you today that it's okay to feel that way. No one, and I mean no one, is perfect. We all make mistakes. I remember being the project manager on a very large-scaled global cross-functional project, and I forgot to communicate a deliverable to another person on another team because this project had more than 30 stakeholders and more than 5 teams, and I had dropped the ball. Just remember that any drop in communication is important because it could delay the timeline by several months, and no one wants that. Not even your manager and not even the directors. And this can be really huge, especially if it's tied to an upcoming product launch that needs to be hit, or if it's tied to your company's financial objectives. Talk about being in a stressful situation, am I right? So when I made that mistake, my heart, it dropped out of my chest and I was completely stressed out. So to get out of that situation, I learned how to voice my concerns, and I learned how to communicate more effectively with project leads on the team, and to always ask if there's anything we're missing whenever we're reviewing our risk register, issue log, and our project schedule. So I always ask, did we forget to include anyone who needs to be aware of that communication? So I urge you, if you're leading a really big project, make sure to have a stakeholder list of who needs to be communicated what information, so that they're always informed no matter what the situation is. In my case, just having that list handy and asking those kinds of questions, it could have prevented me from being completely stressed out that day. So here's my big lesson for you. There will be days where you will make a mistake and you'll feel like the whole world is crumbling down on you, but you have to learn how to pick yourself up and ask your team and your managers for advice and what they recommend on how to proceed. Make sure to always include the right people in all of your communication so that everyone, and I mean everyone who needs to be involved, takes part in those critical decisions. Now, the fourth lesson is to manage expectations to avoid burnout. To survive in your job, especially if you're managing a really large workload and multiple projects at the same time, you need to set expectations with those you work with. It's not uncommon for project managers to be bombarded with so many emails and dozens of meeting requests. But truthfully, do you really need to be a part of those meetings? Do you provide some kind of a critical input or a voice that will move the needle forward? Sure, you might feel glad that you're being a part of that discussion, but if your voice and your feedback has no contribution or no impact on it whatsoever, or if you need some information from the meeting, then you're wasting your time. When you're managing more than 5 to 7 projects all at the same time, there are so many other important things that you could be working on. If the answer is no, then respectfully decline the meeting and send any feedback through email. I have found that just by applying this one principle has saved me at least 5 hours a week that I can use to dedicate and focus my efforts on higher priority and impact projects. And it also helps me avoid burnout and having to work much longer hours than usual. Now, my fifth lesson is to learn how to delegate tasks and to hold people accountable to them. As a project manager, your role is not to do the work for every single deliverable. It's your job to keep the project moving forward, to steer your team towards one goal, and to hold people accountable for them. So in your discussions, use your raid log and make sure that any concerns, any issues, that they're being raised and that any action items are being assigned to one person so that they're held accountable for getting their work done on time. If you master how to delegate work and how to manage expectations with the people on your team, you'll be a much more effective leader and a better project manager, and you won't be burned out all the time, and you're going to feel less stressed out. So remember the following. Lesson 1, learn to be successful on your first smaller projects. Lesson 2, people will expect you to know everything, and in those instances, leverage your team for anything you don't know. It's perfectly okay to feel imposter syndrome, and it's okay to not know everything. Lesson 3, being a project manager comes with a lot of responsibilities and stress. One way to avoid those stressful situations is to always include the right people in all of your communications so that the right decision is always being made. And lesson 4, manage expectations with those you work with so that you can avoid being burned out. And lesson 5, learn how to delegate tasks and hold people accountable for their work. So aside from all these lessons, being a project manager is a really great career path. It's a continuously growing and evolving field, and there are so many opportunities out there. Plus, project managers pay extremely well. As you gather more and more years of experience, not only will your income increase, but you're also going to feel so much more satisfied in your career and the impact that you have on your team. Thank you so much for watching. I genuinely appreciate all of your support. Now, if you're still starting out as a project manager, watch this video next to learn the biggest differences between an entry-level, mid-level, and senior-level project manager position, and I'll see you in the next video.